Good morning, guys. I wanted to show you guys the last trading day of the week, Friday, June 13th, I guess it was. So as you see, I took four trades. All right. All trades worked out. No, it doesn't always work out perfectly like this, but it did yesterday, and I just wanted to go discuss this. Now, first off, I always have my charts up like this. I got NQ and ES. I 90% of the time I'm trading NQ unless NQ price gets away from me. So I don't have to take too much heat and possible drawdown. Sometimes I'll go to ES, right? But I like to have both charts up for price alignment. But for the sake of this video and just showing you my entries and everything, I'm just gonna have it up like this. Okay. So the first trade happened right after Asian session. So I guess this is like the beginning of London session trade here. This sell-off was the war sell-off, the war, beginning. Well, Israel bombing, sending missiles to Iran. Okay, so that was heavy news. So we have this 400-point drop. Okay, we start to see a base here. Now, Israel attacking Iran, in my opinion, there was more of a flash market reaction. It's not something that's going to make the market completely continue to dive into next day's market open, Friday market open. So after we got a base here, I said, look, let me put on something light. I took my PA, something light, because I was just going to the lows here. So I had my stop to the lows, 89-point stop loss, and I was aiming towards the bottom of this 15-minute gap. And my gaps are color coded. All right, the red ones are the 15-minute gaps. All right, so that worked out here. I didn't have an entry model. I just got in towards, like, this was a high. I got in towards a pullback. Because I'm bullish, in anticipating the market buying the dip, in which it did. All right, and this right here is just LRLR. You have this little downtrend on the 1-minute chart, but this is just intraday liquidity. I'm expecting the price to run through, and then ultimately it went towards the target. Okay, that's trade one. So trade one, 133 points. Okay, now we have market open over here. Okay, so market opens. All right, so we're starting to get some nice bullish sentiment back. All right, and I don't like to trade as far as the AM sessions. I don't like to trade until the 10 a.m. candle. All right, I like that 10 a.m. candle to develop first. So usually what you'll see is price would go one way, which it did here. It will go one way to form the wick, and then it'll start to go in the direction that it really wants. So in this situation, it came down, took out this low, all right, which it also did on ES, and then it started to go up, and then you see this change in state of delivery if you zoom in right here. So this is the last leg, this order block here. This is the last leg for before price took out liquidity, came back up, and then it broke this order block right here. All right, creating a change of state delivery, and then price came back down and tapped in. So this would be ideally, if I was looking at the chart at this time, this would ideally be the best point to enter this trade. All right, confirmation of a new uptrend, but I entered the party late. So by the time I looked at it, price was up here. So as I anticipated price to be flipping this 15-minute gap here, I got in this trade here, aiming for the top of the next gap, in which once again it did pretty perfectly, 92 points there. All right, being that I entered here, I had my stop loss at this previous swing low, and what I did, especially when I still have threshold going on my PAs, I once price makes a new high, I'll move my stop loss up. So boom, it made a new high here, I'll move my stop loss to here. All right, it made a base, created a new high. Now my new base is here. Okay, comes here, makes a new high. So the new base is here, comes down, makes a new high. Well, this is the target. If I was leaving runners, my stop loss would then be here. But being that we had the top of this 15-minute gap, I'm looking for this to at least be tested. Why take the unnecessary drawdown? Just go for the low-hanging fruit. I had full take profit here at 92 points. Okay, boom. Now the third trade. Oh, so we're up 210 points so far. Okay, so now I don't know. After I trade for AM, I usually, if I'm gonna take another trade, I will wait for the PM session. This is noon. I don't normally do this, but we had some nice volatility, nice delivery with price yesterday. So as soon as I saw the target grabbed, and then you see this, let's zoom in a little more. You'll see this breaker really form here, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so price takes the whole gap, okay, comes down to make a low, and then creates another high just by a few ticks. All right, creates another high, and then followed by an immediate low. That is a breaker right there. That is a breaker because this order block right here created the high, and then it was instantaneously broken. All right, it was tested again, but price went up, but the breaker did hold. Okay, I looked at this as more of a smaller scalp, about 30 points here, down to the next fair value gap, 1 minute gap that I saw, which was over here. Okay, so that was successful. It took that whole gap, completely filled it, and then went back up to the breaker. Now, I wouldn't, if I didn't take profit here. This is 30 points. I'm not gonna hold this trade without going to break even. I took full profit here, but as you see, the breaker still held. That's why I like breakers so much. The breaker still held for the rest of the day. Okay, which brings me to my fourth and final trade. All right, so the breaker held. That was the origin of this sell-off. It goes back into the 15-minute gap that we previously were in our second trade of the day, but it goes back, and as you see for the PM session, it's attempting to flip the gap to the downside. All right, I missed the entry, so at the worst case scenario, you get in a pullback. Okay, so in this trend, we're in a bearish trend. So in the worst case scenario to do, you would enter with a pullback with my stop loss just above the last swing high. Okay, so 30-point stop loss. All right, I was targeting the 10 a.m. the AM lows right here. So 618, and it really we grabbed those 100 points in a few minutes. So that's 133, 210 plus another 30, 240, 340 points here on the day. No losses, no break even. This was a really good day here. So if this helped you guys out a lot, please subscribe, give me a like on this channel, and also any questions of how what my entry models are looking like. I don't just focus on one entry model. I like breakers the most, but whatever the market gives me, that's what I'm trading. Okay, so if you like this video, give me a follow, and see you guys next time.